can post it later. Any questions on the first page, 1 through 5?
Do you have two windows open?
No, it's Abby.
Oops.
Never mind.
She has a disability.
What?
All right. Any questions 1 through 5? And even if you haven't touched it yet because you thought I was going to work every single problem, if you see something that you're like, man, I really don't remember how to do that, just let me know. Are we good 1 through 5? Everybody good?
Yeah,
Yep.
we don't have to. Did you just do the Did you skip the equation, but like we would actually have to write the equation,
Which one?
like for the specific f of x equals like.
Oh, no, yeah, you wouldn't have to. You're talking about for the graph here?
Mm-hmm.
For this graph?
First, Nina.
Am I on mute?
I don't know.
Well, you heard that? Yeah, for that graph.
Okay, not sure what's going on.
Hello.
Who is this? Christina?
Yes.
Okay, Christina, what's your question?
What? Okay. So, well, I guess it's online, so the equation like will already be written, right?
Yes.
You want? Okay. That's
Yep.
okay.
Or it'll be a graph.
Mhm.
And I may give you the function with it. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next page. Any questions over 6 or 7?
Nope.
Y'all remember how to do piecewise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go to the next page then. Oh, man, I forgot. I need to. Cool. Any questions over 8, 9, 10, 11?
I don't remember how to do 9, and I apparently don't have it in my study guide.
Hey, say it louder, Lucy. I couldn't hear you.
I don't remember how to do 9, and I apparently don't have it in my study guide.
Okay, cool. So it says evaluate the related series of each sequence. So in short, that just means find the sum of these numbers. So just add them all up. Or you can use the formula for finding the total value of something, which is S of n is equal to n times the first number plus the last, Jesus Christ, all over 2. So S sub n is equal to how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers total times 48 plus 98 all over 2. This formula, you may say, well, this is pointless to work through, but this formula will help you with 10 as well. Then from there, you just say 48 plus 98 times 6 divided by 2, and I get 438. Can someone confirm with the answer key if that's correct?
Yeah.
That is?
Mhm.
Does that make sense, Lucy?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other questions on 8, 10, or 11?
Nope.
You all good? Okay. Then 12, we're getting into the vertex. And then we get into factoring from there.
I had a question on 15. I couldn't figure that one out.
Okay. So looking at 15. just says factor each completely.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't factor anything from the beginning. It is in ax squared plus bx plus c form. So just multiply 4 times 25, which is what? 100, right? And then what will multiply to be 100 but add to be negative 20?
Negative 10 and negative 10.
What'd somebody say?
Negative 10 and negative 10.
I think I hear you saying 10 and 10.
Negative 10 and negative 10.
Yeah, there you go. Negative 10 and negative 10.
Isn't it supposed to multiply like when you do it though?
Multiply to give you this, add to give you this.
Oh, so you don't break it up in the. Okay, never mind. I understand myself now.
So this is basically, so whenever you see this right here, this is basically becomes what? A perfect square trinomial, correct? So if you remember how to do that, which from here you could just get your answers, but so it should be n minus 10, or actually, no, I can't do that, can I? Because the n squared doesn't have a 1 on it. So I necessarily couldn't just say n minus 10 squared. I'd have to go about it the other way. So what do y'all want me to do? Do you want me to factor by grouping here, or just factor this knowing that it's a perfect square trinomial? Or both?
Can you do both, please?
All right. So I'm going to factor by grouping. So 4 times 25's got my 100 there. And then negative 10 and negative 10 add to be negative 20. So then I'm going to say 4n squared minus 10n minus 10n plus 25. And then I factor by grouping on both of these. So I can factor a 2 out. So if I factor a 2n out, I'm left with n minus 5. And over here, if I factor out a what, negative 5, I'm left with n minus 5. And then that would produce 2n minus 5 times n minus 5.
That wasn't the answer on the back.
It's 2n minus 5 squared. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Are you muted? Oh, you are muted.
My bad. Sorry about that. I had to talk to my son. Did y'all get this back here when Abby told me my answer was wrong?
Yeah.
So I forgot a 2 when you pull a -5 out of 10. I just had n, but it'd actually be 2n. So that's where it would become 2n minus 5, and this right here would be a 2n minus 5 as well, making 2n minus 5 squared. Or if you can recognize here that these are both perfect square roots, take the square root of a and c. You multiply it together and double it, and you get the middle term, then it's a perfect square trinomial. So you can just bring 2n down. Your minus comes from the middle, and then your 5 here, and then squared. Same answer.
Mm.
Sorry about that.
So weird.
Are you good there, Abby? Everybody good there? Yes?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on 12 through 20?
19.
19. So 3 minus 8i squared.
Yeah.
So this is just making it a binomial times a binomial. Right? What I do here?
You factor, I'm not factor, FOIL.
3 times 3 is 9. Outside, -24i. Inside, -24i. Last, plus 64i squared. That will then go to 9 minus 48i, what?
Minus 64.
Minus 64. What is I squared? I squared is -1. So when you multiply 64 times -1, you get the opposite. And then you just clean that up. What's 9 minus 64?
-55.
-55 plus -48i. Can someone confirm that with the answer sheet?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. All right. Any other questions? 12 through 20? Y'all good? Yeah? Everybody good?
Yep.
Don't be afraid to ask me questions. I have time. Abby, do you still work at AMC?
Yeah.
Any news on when you all go back?
We haven't heard much. I think they've been trying to get back in between June and July. Probably late June is what I'm hoping for, because I want to get some money. Then I'm gonna have to get a new job.
I'm with you. Did you why don't you go work for Chick-fil-A? You don't want to do fast food?
Yeah, no. I've been thinking if anything, I'll probably do Kroger.
Yeah, Kroger. Yeah, a bunch of kids work down at Kroger, huh?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it's $10 an hour. It's already $2 more than my usual wage. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't hesitate there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that Amazon is possibly buying AMC?
No, that's not true. It'd become too much of a monopoly at that point.
It's already a monopoly.
Yeah, but I didn't really read much of the email, but our general manager was talking about how that it won't happen.
Gotcha. I'm gonna hold your words to that. All right.
I wanna please.
All right. Any questions 21 through 25?
25.
Who asked that question? Maddie?
Me? Yeah.
All right. So looking at 25, find all zeros. So in order to find zeros, what are you going to have to do?
Factor.
Factor. Very good. So we factor it, but what's really the key, though? If you ever want to find the zeros of anything, what do you need to do? What'd you say?
Set it equal to 0.
Yeah, there you go. Set it equal to 0. So say x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. And then when you have an equation that's equal to 0 and you have more than one type variable with a different power, that's where we want to factor. So what happens when what can I factor out of all this?
An x.
And I'm left with
X squared plus 3x minus 4.
and that's equal to 0, right? So I know I have this x over here. Don't forget about that x equaling 0, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this one right here because this times this is equal to 0. They're both equal to 0. So go ahead and take care of that by saying x equals 0. So I found 1 0. Now I just need to factor this in here. What will multiply to be -4 but add to be 3?
-4 and, no, 4 and -1.
Oh yeah, 4 and -1. Very good. So then that can go to this, x plus 4, x minus 1, right? X equals -4, x equals +1. Those are our 3 zeros, guys. What does that tell us about our zeros? What does that tell us about our graph?
It crosses the x-axis 3 times.
Remember, keep in mind that power, right? The highest power is how many times it crosses the x-axis. So if I was to graph this, which you don't have to do this for your test, but just I'm liking the review, we know x squared does this, or excuse me, x cubed does that. And I have a point at -4. I have a point at 0. And I have a point at 1. I have no multiplicity. What does it do when we have a multiplicity?
It like curves on
It
it.
touches it, yeah, it touches it, but it doesn't cross, right? So we have a graph looking something like that. If I had to graph it, which of course you don't have to, obviously we're very limited in what we can do as far as like the test, but so not too far off. So what helps you graph something is your zeros, okay? Any other questions, 21 through 25? Y'all remember how to do synthetic division, like number 24? Y'all good there?
Can we do 21?
Yeah. So 21, solve each equation with the quadratic formula. What's the quadratic formula? Do y'all remember?
-b plus or minus b squared times, or no, minus squared c. Oh, squared, dang, messed it up.
Opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It's in that form right now. Here is a, here is b, and here is c. So opposite b would be +3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times -1 all over 2. That then goes to 3 plus or minus the square root of 9. -4 times 1 is -4 times a -1 is +4 all over 2. That's 3 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 2. Can I simplify the square root of 2? or excuse me, square root of 13. Will 4 or 9 go into 13?
No.
So this should be my final answer then. Can somebody confirm with the answer key?
Yep, that's right.
Of course, it may show it like this: 3 plus radical 13 over 2, comma 3 minus radical 13 over 2. Does that make sense? Who was that? I don't know who that was. Are you good? Whoever asked that?
Yes.
Muy bien.
We can.
That's very good in Spanish or Mexican, Christina, just in case you're struggling with that. I know you struggle with Espanol. Hey, Christina, are you still here?
Yes.
Where do you go in California?
I go to Southern California. It's like an hour from LA.
Is your family Chicana?
Not, I mean, yeah, they're Mexican, but they're like not like that.
They're not. Do you know what I mean when I say Chicano, right?
I mean, they're not like, they're not, no.
I don't think you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Yes or no?
I know what you mean, but like, Chicanos, they're like, they were not that, I don't know how to explain it.
They basically lived in California when the United States basically took California over.
And no.
So they're from Mexico.
Yeah, my grandparents came to Mexico, like, when they were, like, 19.
Wow. So was your dad and mom or dad or whoever it was, were they raised in Mexico?
No, my mom was raised in California.
So they left Mexico to come to California.
Mm-hmm. And then my dad left Costa Rica to come to the U.S.
Interesting. I would be intrigued to pick your parents' brains. All right, 24. Hey, something you guys need to know about 24. Can anybody remember what that is about 24? When you're dividing polynomials?
You do it like where you just add and subtract it.
Yeah, like the synthetic division, right? You make this like -6, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's one key part that you need to remember about it?
Add 0.
I'm sorry, somebody cut out.
Add 0n.
Look at Dominic sneaking in here. Anytime you have a missing power, like here we don't have an n. So our coefficients would be 1, 6, but we wouldn't go -1. We'd have to say 0 because there's not an n, and then -1. And then do your synthetic division. Okay? Then start working it out. Just a reminder, because you're probably going to see one like that on the final, where you're going to have to add in a 0. If you don't, you're probably going to get you're still going to get an answer that will work, but just letting you know. Any other questions 21 through 25? All right. Continue right on. And every concept that we've done this year is not necessarily on this, just because that's a lot to squeeze in 50 minutes or 50 questions. So any questions 26 through 31?
30.
30, okay. Anybody else anything right now?
Can we do 28 and 29?
And just to have a question on 26.
Yeah, go ahead with 26.
How do you do horizontal asymptote again?
Remember, it's bottom heavy, top heavy, the same.
Oh.
It's a ratio of those.
Okay.
So horizontal, you get, or did I say that right, guys? Vertical is you set the denominator equal to 0.
Yeah.
Horizontal, you do it based on the highest power. So since these have the same, we're going to have a horizontal asymptote at -2.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. And then somebody said 28. Did somebody say 28?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's look at this. So we basically just factor everything, all right? The bottom, we factor a 3 out and we get x minus 2. Yeah. Now looking up here at the top, that I can rewrite that as negative x squared.
Can you move the camera a little up, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So x plus 3, x plus 4, bring it down, and then I just factored 3x minus 6 to get 3 times x minus 2.
Wait, how did you get the negative x squared at the top?
Well, hold on. I started that.
Oh.
Yeah. So right now it's just there. Now I have this trinomial here that I know I'm going to need to factor out, okay? So, and this is where this gets a little bit tricky, all right? So, and if you all can remember, we had some issues with some signs when we went through this based on this right here. Because really this is written out negative x squared minus 2x plus a. But what can you not have when you're factoring? The leading coefficient cannot be what?
Negative.
If you remember, that's when we just changed all the signs of everything, right? But then we weren't getting an answer right. Because in order to change this sign of this, you'd have to do the same thing to the bottom. Do y'all remember that? We had a little issue with that on a problem.
Kind of remember it, but not really.
Yeah. So what I actually want to do here is, here's what I would do. Just to try to avoid that issue, I'm going to multiply the top by -1 here and the bottom by -1 here. What you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator, okay? And what that does is we still got x plus 3 over x plus 4. But what that does is this. It changes that to x squared plus 2x minus 8 over negative 3x plus 6. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing that because we can't factor this right here. We cannot factor that because it has a leading coefficient. Now, of course, we can, the issue that we had before is that we would multiply this one thing by -1, but then we'd have an issue at the end that the answer wouldn't be correct. So I think this fixes it if I can recall correctly. Now let's factor everything. X plus 3, x plus 4 times what will multiply to be -8 but add to be 2.
4 and -2.
So I got x plus 4, x minus 2, all over, factor a -3 out, and I'm left with what? X minus 2? And then we just simplify. X plus 4, x plus 4, x minus 2, x minus 2. And I'm left with x plus 3 over -3. Now, can the 3's cancel?
No.
No, because that's attached with addition. Can someone check and even see if that's right on the back?
It's negative x minus 3 over 3.
Okay, is that the same thing though? Right?
Yeah.
That would be the same thing. Our signs, we just have the sign in the denominator. Negative x plus 3. Or no, what is it? Negative x minus 3 over 3. So this and these are equal. It's just that this one has the negatives in the, this would be multiplying the top and bottom by -1 again. Okay? And putting the negatives up there. Same thing there though.
And then the excluded values, are those the ones that cancel out?
Those are the ones that X, the denominators cannot be, because if 0 is a denominator, remember, it's undefined. So what does it say for the answer key for excluded values? I assume it'd be one of them is -4, right?
-4 and 2.
Okay. So remember, for excluded, set your denominators to 0. Set these two denominators right here and here equal to 0. So x plus 4 is equal to 0, and 3x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x is equal to -4, and 3x equals 6, x equals 2. So my excluded are -4 and 2. And this right here would be my answer. Either one of those would work. Dom, is that coming back to you a little bit?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Anybody else?
30.
30? Okay, yeah. Hey, Dom, do you want to see 29?
No, I think I got it.
So you just got to flip it, right? Keep it, change the sign, and flip it.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, in order for you to understand your excluded values, you got to set all three of these equal to 0. That all three of those you have to set equal to 0 in order for you to find your excluded values.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So then 30. So what do we have to do here with 30 to simplify this expression?
You have to do, you have to multiply the first one, top and bottom, by b plus 1.
Good.
And then you got to do the opposite for the next ones.
Very
so
good.
b plus 3.
Very good. So then when we do that, we get what right here? 2b squared plus 2b. That's the, oh, yeah, y'all can see that. Oh, sorry. And then over here, and then keep in mind, all right, we're going to have to say minus and then whatever here. 4b squared minus 12b. And that's all over. First would be b squared outside. Outside is 3b, inside is 1b, so we know that's going to be 4b plus 3. Okay, now clean this up, distribute. We got 2b squared plus 2b minus 4b squared plus 12b. Or excuse me, minus 12b. All over that b squared minus 4b plus 3.
Is it minus or plus?
Plus 4b. Now we can clean this up. What's 2b squared minus 4b squared?
-2b squared.
And what's 2 minus 12?
-10.
All over the b squared plus 4b plus 3. Can we pull anything out of that that would help us? That could cancel with b plus 1 or b minus b plus 3 down here? I'm not seeing anything. What's, somebody get the answer for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Oh, this is the answer?
Yeah.
Well, the bottom would be simplified.
Do they have b plus 1, b plus 3 at the bottom?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you all remember when we discussed that, sometimes they'll do it, sometimes they don't. I didn't really see a consistent pattern in the answer key, so Just be prepared for both. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You good, Abby?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? 26 through 33. Or excuse me, 31. Any other questions on this page? All right. Now let's jump over here to the back. Any questions 32 through 36?
32.
32, okay. So anytime you're solving equations with denominators, what are you going to have to do? What do you want to do, really?
You want them to be the same?
Want them to be the same, yeah. I mean, which in this case, they are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what else? We want to get rid of them, correct?
Yeah.
So how do you get rid of denominators with any equation? Multiply by the what?
Denominator.
Yeah, multiply by the least common denominator. So what is the least common denominator for all of these right here?
B minus 2.
B minus 2. And then we distribute, right? Multiply that by everything. Well, the cool trick is that when you're multiplying an equation, the denominator, you're multiplying by that denominator, what happens to it? It does what?
Cancels out.
Cancels. So b plus 1 is equal to, and then here you just got to FOIL that. So that's b squared. B times b is b squared minus 2b plus 1b, which would just be what? Minus b and then minus 2. Then I would just push these over here and say b squared. What do we have? Just b squared plus 1? Or no, b squared, when I minus that b and minus that 1. B squared minus 2b minus 3. So I got b squared minus 2b minus 3. What will multiply to be negative 3 but add to be negative 2?
Negative 3 and 1.
B minus 3, b plus 1. So b is then equal to 3 and negative 1. And then you would plug both of those in to C. Okay, plug 3 in. 3 over 1 is 3. Plus 1 over 1 is 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. So that one works. And then you plug negative 1 in. Negative 1 on this side would give us 0. Over here, negative 1 over negative 3 would be 1/3 plus 1/3 as well would give us 0, because that's negative 1/3 plus 1/3. So those both work out. Make sure you always check for extraneous solutions. That, can somebody confirm with the answer key?
So you're looking for it to equal 0?
No, like you're just wanting to make sure that when you plug those back into B's on both sides that they're equal.
Oh, okay.
So like the first one, 3, if you plug a 3 in there, 3 plus 1 is 4. If you plug a 3 into all those B, you're going to get 4 on that side as well.
Okay.
If you plug in a negative 1, you're going to get 0 there and 0 on that side. But can somebody confirm, make sure that is the right answer?
It is.
Okay, cool. All right. Does that make sense? Whoever asked that question?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question. Any other questions? 32 through 36.
Yeah, 33.
Okay, 33. So identify the vertex of each. I wonder where these two came in from. These seem more like chapter 1 questions. Well, I don't know where these came. I don't know. Nevertheless, we can solve this. So how do you find the vertex of a equation?
Negative b over 2a.
Opposite b over 2a. So opposite b would be negative what? 1/2 over 2 times negative 1/4. So that's going to be negative 1 over 2 over negative 1 over 2. So that should equal 1. Can somebody confirm that the vertex in 33, the x coordinate is 1?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. Now we just plug that 1, so we know we have 50% of our answer. Now we just need to go find the y coordinate of that. So the y coordinate, you just plug 1 back in there. I'm going to use a calculator since you can on your test. And we got negative 1 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by 2 minus 21 divided by 4. I got negative 5. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Muy bien. So I guess I threw those in late. Did it already ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Good. You need to know your vertexes. Actually, it did not.
I thought it asked a question about a vertex. At least I remember doing one.
Not that I can see. Oh yeah, on number 12, it says to write it in vertex form equation. I guess that's the only one. So I guess I put those two at the end of that for some reason. All right. And did somebody say 34 as well?
No.
Oh, okay. So 34, you do it the same way. Just find your vertex and then use that negative x squared. That's your parent function. Negative 8 is your y-intercept. Any other questions? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
35 and 36.
Do 35 and 36?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
35, negative 8 plus p raised to the 2/3 power is equal to negative 4. First step, we just need to find what p is. There we go. So I'm going to add 8. I want to get everything away from p. So I get p 2/3 power is equal to negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4. Then this is in exponential form right now. I want to take it to radical form. So what is p raised to the 2/3 power in radical form?
Square root p, multiply the whole thing by like the 3, like the exponent 3.
Go the opposite way, Maddie, or Abby. The 3 is your
Oh.
index.
Root.
The cube root
Okay,
of
that's what it was.
and then squared equals 4. So then there, what I got to do to get that square off? Do the square root of both sides. Then I'm left with the cube root of p is equal to 2. Then I cube both sides in order to get that cube root off, and I get p is equal to 8. I could always check it by plugging it back into the problem. Can somebody confirm with the answer key that's the correct answer, 8?
It says 8, negative 8.
Does it really?
Yeah, I guess it says solve for each equation, but
Really? I don't remember doing that on our thing. The only reason that would be that way, which I don't remember doing this when we went through it. I don't remember it saying that on the answer sheet. But technically speaking right here, when you do that square root on both sides, technically this square root can be what?
Positive or negative.
Positive or negative, right? So I assume that they're saying this right here equals plus or minus 2. And then when you cube both sides, P is then equal to either positive 8 or negative 8. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. 2 cubed is 8. Not to worry, though, because on the test, I wouldn't have like 8 as an answer, or no test would ever have 8 as an answer and negative 8. You'd either have one of them or both of them there together. It wouldn't be like, you know, A is 8, B is negative 8, you know. It wouldn't be like that. When I remember when we went through that, I don't remember it being plus or minus like that, but we do have an understanding of why that is. And then 36, we just need to FOIL that. Radical 5 plus radical 2 squared. So first, what's radical 5 times radical 5?
5.
5. Outside would be radical what?
Is it radical 10?
Yep, radical 10. And then plus radical 10. And then what? Plus 2?
Mm-hmm.
So then what would be my final answer? 5 plus 2 is what?
7.
And then treat radicals like variables. So how many of those square root 10s do I have?
It'd be 2 radical 10.
Yep. Can somebody confirm that answer?
Yep.
Cool. Making sense thus far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. $37 through 43.
43.
Okay. So looking at 43, find the value of the trig function indicated. So find sine here, all right? Find sine of theta. So keep in mind, what is sine? Asymptote. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So here's hypotenuse, but this right here is adjacent to theta. So we need to find what that is right there. How am I going to do that? Use what?
Pythagorean theorem.
5 squared plus b squared is equal to 5 radical 5 squared. That's 25 plus b squared is equal to, remember, attach that to both of them. That would be 25 times what? 5? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then that would obviously be $1.25. And then subtract 25 from both sides. We get 100. We find b to be equal to what? 10? So what is opposite over opposite over hypotenuse? 10 over 5 radical 5. Will that be the final answer?
No.
Multiply top and bottom by what?
Radical 5.
So that's 10 radical 5 over what?
25.
25. Very good. Lead my final answer to be 2 radical 5 over 5 because 2 will go into 10 and 25. Did I say that right? No, 5 will go into 10 and 25 2 times and 5 times. Can I get a confirmation of that answer? 2 radical 5 over 5.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
I just did 42 on the calculator. Do you want that actually written out?
No, that's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with you using a calculator there.
Okay.
Can you remind us how to do the matrix again on the calculator?
Oh, and the calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah. So matrix is going to be all about our list, right? Or hold on. No. Sorry, wrong one. Thinking of something else. Right here, this -1. And Abby, since if you've done this recently, you may have to help me out. But you just go to second matrix, which is to the -1. You scroll over there to that, and you just edit it, and you create what it is. That's a 2 by 2, so it's 6, 4, 5, and 5. Now go back to my matrix, edit, and go to edit B. I need it to be a 2 by 1. And that's 3 and -2. Guess it would help if you could see it a little bit. So second matrix, edit them to get to the first one, 6, 4, 5, and 5. 6, 4, 5, and 5. And then just go back into matrix, second x to the -1, the inverse. And then go to your second one, that's 3 and -2. And then you just come over here to the front and say second matrix. And we're wanting to do A times second matrix B. And we get 10 and 5 there. I'm completely fine with you using your calculator on there. Now, I want to see the work on it. I mean, I don't think you're, obviously, if that was your agenda, Abby, you wouldn't do that. But make sure we show work on stuff that needs to be shown work on. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to send you our work
Yes, got to get your work by Friday.
for the final?
I need all chapter 7 and your final study guide by Friday. Yes.
Do you want like our work from like the final test?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
That's totally you guys. All right. Any other questions on this page? All right, go to the back page. This is our most recent stuff we've done. Any questions on any of it? Be more than happy to help you on something.
The last 3.
Okay. So, looking at 48. Cosecant of 1,035 degrees. So keep in mind, SOHCAHTOA. Right? And we determined that sine was our what coordinate is sine? The y, right?
Oh.
Cosine is x. Tangent is y over x. So then therefore, cosecant is 1 over y. Secant is 1 over x. And cotangent is x over y. Do we understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So then we want to find cosecant of 1 over y. But the issue is we have more than one perfect circle, correct? So what would we need to do here in order to find where this would be on the unit circle, the 360 degrees? Subtract what?
The last perfect circle.
The last perfect circle. Who was that?
Me.
Who's
Christina.
me, Maddie?
Christina.
Oh, gosh. She's still here?
I'm still here.
1,035 minus 720. I figured you gave up a long time ago. 315 degrees. So cosecant of 315 degrees. Now, 315, it ends in a 5. So 315, it ends in a 5, so it has to be radical 2 over 2. All right? But we just got to figure out the sign. What is the y-coordinate sign in the fourth quadrant at 315? Think about what the y-axis, what sign it is in the fourth quadrant. What sign would it be?
Will it be negative?
Negative. So I know this is going to be 1 over radical 2 over radical 2, and it's negative. But then I just need to clean this up by saying like 1 over 1 divided by negative radical 2 over 2. So keep it, change the sign, do the reciprocal. That is equal to negative 2 over radical 2. But can I keep that answer as radical 2 in the denominator?
No.
Cannot. Multiply top and bottom by radical 2. And I get negative 2 radical 2 all over what?
2.
2. And then those cancel, leaving me negative radical 2.
Yep.
Yes, correct. So that's a bit of a doozy one right there. That's a little insane. Okay. Coming over here to tangent of negative 495 degrees. Now, we didn't do too many negative ones on the notes, but I think you all can handle it. What do you do with the negative? Do you all remember what I said?
You just go across from what the degree was.
You go with the clockwise.
Yeah, backwards.
Yeah, you go backwards, right? But I don't know if I told you this. That's why I was trying to see if you all and I don't know if I did. You know, like here we go from 1,035 and we subtract the last perfect circle. What do you think you can do here to find this degree as a positive?
Add.
Add the what?
The perfect circle.
Add the next perfect circle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So negative 495 plus 720 would give us 225 degrees. Now, the logic behind that is this right here. If it's 495 degrees, that's doing this. That's negative 360, right? And then 495 to 360 would be 135. So it's like coming back, it'd be like right around here, okay? So that's our angle right there. That's negative 495 degrees, which obviously looks like 225 from there as well. But if we just go back, or obviously a couple different things here. We're adding 2. If we add to the last perfect one, that takes us basically back to what it is as positive. A couple different ways to kind of look at that. Obviously, if you kept going around, that would be negative 720. So if you're adding 720, it'll take you back to that 225. Same, it's just a kind of a little shortcut you can do to get to the positive angle. And then tangent of 225, again, it ends in 5. So that's going to be radical 2 over 2 over radical 2 over 2. But what, and it's y over x, tangent is y over x. What's negative in the third quadrant? Is the x-axis negative?
Yeah.
Is the y-axis negative?
Yes, sir.
So that should just be what there?
Just positive then?
Positive 1?
Oh, never mind.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm backwards here, so I don't mean to look like I have an issue. And then what's cotangent of 0? Cotangent is x over y. What is the x coordinate at 0?
0.
Oh,
Nope. 1.
1. What's the y coordinate?
0.
So what would that be?
Defined.
Undefined.
Undefined. Anything else you'd like to see me work on this page? Speak now or forever hold your math piece.
The test is multiple choice, right?
Correct. Not yours though, Maddie. I changed yours up to challenge you a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions of me at all?
No.
It's been a pleasure to do business with you all this whole school year. If this was my last time I had you, I would give you a final speech. But I don't think this is my last time to have you all. So, or many of you, I won't. I think most of you guys are taking pre-cal, right?
I wish.
Hey, don't you even get started, Abby.
Well, I'm sorry.
Hey, you were actually a little bit wrong on my whole AP Calc. I don't get 2 periods. I only get 1.
Well, that's what Miss Trish told me.
She's a liar. No, that flex period, which is like, what, 5th period?
Yeah.
I think I may be able to get, like, designate maybe a day or 2 a week for AP Calc for that, but I don't have back-to-back periods, unfortunately.
Mm.
But I guess 4th period is when I have pre-cal, to my knowledge. And I guess that's when Surge offers A&P, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is A&P a senior class?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what it is then. Is it normally a junior class?
It's like, I think anybody can take it other than freshmen and sophomore. Yeah, freshmen and
But
sophomore.
when do people normally take it, though? Their senior year?
Yeah, senior or junior. It just depends on what they feel.
See, that's what I'm confused by that, because I don't understand offering, senior classes. And again, I don't want you to try to, I don't want you to at all think that I'm just like saying that my class is the best class, or because I know Miss Combs a good teacher and stuff. I'm not trying to pull you from there, at all. But it's frustrating that not that I can't have you in class, but just that a senior has to make a choice between a math class and a science class. And I understand you're going into the medical field, so like I would take A&P over that, but I'm confused on why that choice has to be made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
But to be honest, you should. To be honest, Abby, you should be taking stats and pre-cal.
Yeah.
A ton of kids have done that. I don't know what your schedule looks like, but a ton of kids take stats and pre-cal at the same time, really.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not able to. That's the thing. Because if I could, I may have done that. I probably would have preferred pre-calc over it.
Let me do some talking then. Let me
Okay, work your magic.
let me do some talking. I heard you're gonna have to go down to elementary wing for Surge now. Yeah, for real. He's gonna be over there. From what I've heard. So nice walk down memory lane for you.
Apparently.
But the rest of you, Lucy, are you taking pre-cal?
No.
Maddie, you are. Dom, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Caitlin, are you even with us, or are you just?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, she is with us. Surprise!
Yeah, I've just been watching it.
Oh yeah, you don't interact. Yeah, don't.
Yeah, I had to get my free answers.
Oh yeah, are you taking the final, or are you exempting it?
I'm exempting it.
I don't know. Is it a respect thing to exempt a teacher's final? Because I've
What?
gotten a lot.
What?
It's less stuff for you to grade.
Oh, okay. In fact, that I don't grade anything at all. Have you ever seen me grade anything? You all grade your homework. Most of the time you grade your own quizzes. Tests are the only thing I grade, and you've only had 4 of them in school, and the last 3 have been online.
Wow.
So as soon as you hit submit the test or whatever you hit on Canvas, it goes right into your grade book. So
True.
very beautiful thing on my end. That's what I thought about. Like maybe next year, just giving Canvas tests inside the classroom. Thoughts?
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It does.
But of course, you won't have access to your phone, a calculator, or anyone else that you're FaceTiming during my test.
Multiple choice. That's easier.
I feel like you guys got a pretty nice pass this year.
Me
We
too.
did.
Because you don't remember what test was it? Was it chapter 3?
The super long one that
It was like, yeah, and you all said it took you like 3 hours to do.
More.
It took us days.
It literally took us like 3 days to take it.
That's awesome, though. That's good, man. That's good math. That's good practice. I remember seeing some of your papers. That gives me joy when I just see a math assignment or test just full of work. That means you're working. That means that brain's moving. I hope you guys have learned this year. I hope you've learned a little bit something. Algebra 2 is something that many people say, hey, I took a lot of knowledge from Algebra 2. That's what I've been told in the past, last year. I hope it's the same with you all. It's like, it almost feels like you're stepping over a hump in math. And many times Algebra 2 is one of the highest levels of math that some kids take. And then in pre-calculus, that's when you're really starting to separate kids. That's when I think it separates. When you start separating math students is when you go to pre-cal. You can tell the difference because you're not into as much algebra, but you're more into theories and theorems and how does this work and how does that work. So that's where we really see the separation. But I hope this has been helpful to you this year. And I hope you all have learned a great deal of knowledge in order to improve your ACT score, which is my main objective. My main goal for you is for you to get a high ACT score in order for you to put money in your pocket for college. Does that make sense?
Hallelujah.
Well, hopefully that happens. Maddie, you're the only senior. Abby, you're the only senior in here, right? You probably, and to you people listening later, even if you do listen, Elena Dawson emailed me. It's like, hey, are you going to record this because I got this, and this going on? So even if you do watch this, make sure you guys sign up to take the ACT this summer or this fall.
I already did.
You already did? Very good. Thank you, Abby.
Yep.
The rest of you, make sure you sign up to take it this summer, this fall, because early application, I think, is like November for most colleges. So you want to have that solid ACT score in there. So
Is the AC testing opening this summer again?
Oh, Abby, when did you sign up?
Olivia and I are taking it at Central Crossing July 18th.
Okay. So, and I assume that, when did you sign up for that? Did you sign up before all this?
Oh, no, we signed up during this. Like, we signed up like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago.
Yeah. So very good. And I would encourage you sophomores to do the same thing. Take it. See what it's like before you get your free one as a junior. Then you're going to have a much better maybe walking into it. Would you agree with that, Abby?
Yeah. Also study, you know.
Yeah. And you sophomores didn't get to sit through the ACT prep class or not prep, but ACT information day. And if you want information about attending an ACT like boot camp, I have some information, some valuable resources of a ACT boot camp locally here that's put on. That we had a student that she went from a 20 on her ACT to a 25 on her ACT. Wow. So it does cost money. I think it costs around $300 or $400. But what's $300 or $400 compared to thousands of dollars in scholarships? So.
Did you email that to us?
I can actually. Yes, I will. I will send you the link to their website, and obviously I don't get no cut from them for encourage you, but I have heard great success from there. I tell you this, one girl went from a 20 to a 25. Another girl went up a little bit, but not much, but she did get into OSU because obviously with the ACT score she had. So obviously going from 20 to 25 is much easier than going from a 28 to a 32, so. But I will send those out. I don't know if they're doing it during all this coronavirus stuff, but it's a weekend. It's a couple weekends that you go to this class with this teacher who's taken it for 20 years. She takes it every single year, and she gets almost a perfect score every time. So I don't know. I haven't taken the ACT since probably 2004, 2005. I took it one time. So obviously someone like that's going to have much more knowledge than me. I just get asked to tutor a lot for the ACT, and I don't have the time due to my young kids, but I would push you to go to something like that because they can help you more than I will ever think about helping you. So they just give you all that refresher knowledge that you need, opposed to, you don't need to be refreshed on how to convert degrees into radians, but you may need to know, the volume formula for a cylinder. You need to be refreshed on or something like that, so. But hey, I don't know. I'm sure that I may see some of you guys next week. I'll be at the school. I think you guys are doing locker clean out and stuff like that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I'm sure I'll see some of you there. I'm sure I'll see some of you over the summer. If you visit Chick-fil-A, you will often see me and my family there at Chick-fil-A. If I don't see you then, I'm sure I'll see you somewhere. Or if not, I will see you guys come August. It's been a pleasure to teach you guys. I've gotten many emails from many of you in this class that tell me how much you enjoy coming to my class and how much you look forward to coming to my class. If I could just simply say, if you feel as excited as I feel for you all to come to my class, then that's a very good thing, because if you feel like you're excited to come to my class, I can't tell you how excited I was for you guys to get to my class. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a compliment to you. As a teacher, and I've been doing this for 8 years, which is not long, but I've been doing it for 8 years. And there's those classes that, you highlight on your schedule at the beginning of the year and just think, man, this is going to be the class that helps me get through the day when I'm so sick of doing everything else. And for me, that class was you all this year for sure. You guys brought a different joy. You understood me. You got me. You knew when you could push me a little bit, Christina. While at the same time, you all knew that. When, hey, it's just lecture today with Miss Rypok. Am I right on that?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
You all knew days that you could all right, let's push him a little bit, or no, it was funny. I probably shared this before, but my wife would come home and she said, she's like, somebody said you're in a bad mood. It's just like, oh my goodness, I wasn't in a bad mood. I was just really in the zone. I was trying to get through something, trying to get through a lecture, trying to make sure we keep the pace. So as most of you guys know now, I'm not as much of a jerk the second year you come with me, just because you kind of know me and you know what you can do with me, and all right, it's time to work, or it's time to have fun, or whatever it may be. So, but I appreciate you guys, and it was an honor to teach this class this year. I hope I did a decent job, and I'm not fishing for compliments. I don't want you to spray my email with emails saying blah 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 blah. I'm not saying that at all. But it's been my pleasure. If you think it's a joy for you to be in my class, trust me, it's just as fun to teach you all. It really is. I chose this job literally because I said I literally get to go hang out with teenagers all day. I enjoy you all more than I enjoy the teachers. I'd rather hang out with you all in the classroom than hang out with the other teachers in the classroom. And you don't hear a lot of teachers saying that, So I don't know. To me, I'd always kick it with you all in terms of being in school, I would rather kick it with you all in the classroom than, be out doing something with teachers or something. Teachers are kind of lame, if you know what I mean.
Does it ever like take you back to your memories in high school?
Like teaching?
No, like when you like see us or you're hanging out with the kids, does it like remind you?
No, that's actually a phenomenal question. It doesn't. It actually does not. Just because I was a different person in high school. My GPA in high school was a 2.2.
Ooh.
So, and that's from a 4.0 senior year too. So I would say my GPA was probably about 1.7, 1.8 going into my junior year.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
my senior year, I pulled off a 4.0. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand education. And we've talked about this before, guys. I didn't have anybody at home like saying, here's the expectation, you better get there, It was just do whatever you want. But then, fortunately, I made up my mind and said, you know what, I don't want to be what I saw my sisters become. So I said, you know what, I need to get it together. And that year, my senior year, I had a 4.0. In my undergrad, I had a 3.9. I had a biology class professor that was crazy. And then both my master's degrees, I had a 4.0. So I am a definitely, I grew up very poor. So I don't want to say I'm rags to riches because I'm definitely not rich now. But in my heart and in my soul, I've gone from rags to riches. And a lot of that I can point towards God. He's given me that grace. He's shielded me. That He's used that mercy to shield me from the punishment I deserve. And He's given me the blessing that I don't deserve with that grace. So I thank Him every single day. I know you hear a lot of people say, I thank God every day. I literally thank God every single day that He has given me everything that I have. Because I promise you guys, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for God. And I give all glory to Him for that. Because as you guys have heard, you guys have heard me share the stories of my household and my sisters and what they've gotten into, and it was rough. So it's by the mercies, and the Bible literally says that it's by the mercies of the Lord that we're not consumed all the days of our lives. So I give thanks unto God for that. But what makes it unique, Maddie, that you asked that question, feel free if you need to go, guys, if you have work or something like that, feel free, you need to go. And hey, I'll actually stop recording.